Welcome to our Homegrown Homestead. I'm Anna and this is Andrew.
Howdy.
We're just starting out our journey of homesteading on a 1/4 acre block. We live in southern Adelaide foothills.
Yeah, urban homesteading.
Urban homesteading.
We are learning on the fly and we're just trying to make our property and what we have work for us. We're not going to spruik a whole bunch of ideas that might not be accessible to everybody, but we'll just say what works for us, but then dabble in and sprinkle in a few things that you might not be aware of. And then hopefully, we can grow or home grow together, and just be a part of the gardening community here in Australia, and maybe even wider.
We wanted to do the channel for people like us who are just starting out with a garden. We moved in about 18 months ago and we've just been slowly adding to the garden and improving it in ways that we like and in ways that support sustainability for our family going forward.
Exhibit A, family. Just little things that we've learned over time since we've been here. I haven't gardened since I was about 10 years old. And then when we moved here, they've been few and far between since when we actually had any space to garden properly anyway. So, yeah.
I guess coming from COVID lockdowns, living in an apartment for a little while, when we saw this house, we were really intrigued by the garden and it sort of drew us to the property. The garden was a big factor in us buying the house because it's so open. We've got a public reserve behind our property with a lot of kangaroos and gum trees and access to nature.
We've been able to get a property that has that, and we know not everyone's circumstances are the same, but that's why we also do not only open gardening and things like that in the dirt, but we also do containerized and more small footprint sort of stuff as well. So hopefully there's a little bit of everything for a bunch of people.
All in all,
to summarize, we're learning.
We're very much learning. And we thought we would document our journey and hopefully connect with people who are also learning and also trying to, create a garden that provides some sustainability for your young family. We've got 3 kids and we're hoping that what we grow in the garden and the eggs and things that we make? Not really,
Grow?
Not so much.
Grow? Forage?
Forage.
We're in a temperate climate, so we do get all 4 seasons. It is sort of classified as a Mediterranean climate, which does afford us some ability to grow certain things like tomatoes through the warmer months and things like that. But we can't grow things that the tropical climates might do. We do have to put some of our chilies potentially in greenhouse because they may not survive the frost. But that's going to be a later video where we can show what sort of things we can grow and things like that.
And watch this space because we're also growing a chili that is really frost resistant.
Yeah.
And so far we've been going really well with it. How many plants have you grown?
So far 3, and that was just from one fruit. So we got the fruit from a chili festival. Anna had the idea of germinating the seeds from that fruit. And we've managed to get 3 good plants. We've still got a lot of seeds in reserve. Most of the things we put in the ground have thrived. Some things have not. That's just the nature of the beast.
What we wanted to do early was to put in fruit trees. And we chose dwarfed varieties for most of these trees because we have a really nice view behind our property. There's a hill. So we didn't want to obstruct the view too much. So we got some dwarf fruit trees and we thought we'll plant them straight away because they're going to take a few years to establish and provide fruit. So we've started that process now and we're watching them really take off and do really, really well already within the first 18 months.
In addition to the fruit trees, we also put in raised garden beds. The house already had a 5,000 litre water tank, rainwater tank, which we are looking at expanding the capacity of, adding another tank or 2 because we just went through a really dry summer.
Some of our top tips of things that we've learnt from starting out gardening and starting a self-sufficient journey would be get your fruit trees in early.
Yep. Patience.
And use what you're already buying, I think, is another good one. So Andrew's managed to use some offcuts of kitchen scraps, so ends of onions, like spring onions, potatoes, and put them in the ground. Just experiment and see what happens. Like, you can't really lose because you've already bought the produce and you've already used it.
Yeah.
So try and grow something from it. Experimenting, that's how we learn.
And even things like the seeds from the capsicum from the store, I've managed to germinate some plants from those. Just an experiment, just to see if it would. And so far we've got some plants that are starting to fruit as well, which is great. So little things like that, yeah. So that's good advice. Use what you're already getting, and also just whatever you think you are using the most of from a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month. Sort of lean into the season, what's readily available in the season. Try not to be too picky, but
it's tempting to want to grow lots of things. But when we thought about it, we thought we don't really use that much cabbage, for example,
eggplant,
in our everyday cooking.
Yeah.
So there's certain veggies that we don't generally go to, just our personal tastes and recipes that we use a lot. So we thought, instead of trying to grow everything, let's really focus on what we use a lot of as a family. Capsicums, definitely one of those. Tomatoes, the kids love them. So things like that we can grow, and we know that we're going to use them. They're not going to go to waste.
I think, and then you look at like herbs. So coriander, thyme, parsley, 3 that we would use quite often. The whole thing that we're doing here is learn by doing. We're just seeing what works in the space we're in. We're still learning, the different seasons and how the sun hits the garden differently.
There was that quote that it reminds me of. Don't get too focused on trying to give your kids a good life that you forget to give them a good day. And I think that's another one that applies to the garden. It's, we enjoy the garden. We go out there and enjoy it all the time. And instead of focusing on the harvest or like how much fruit and veg we're getting, we're also out here just enjoying it. And it's more about the journey as well, and trying things, and that lifestyle that we want for our kids.
All right, well, as we go through this together, we'd like to, get as many likes and subscribes from the community as possible, but at the same time, also engagement. So if you guys want to make any comments or reach out, have any questions, or have other tips as well to share to the community, that'd be great. We're just starting from our perspective now in the community. So be open to comments, likes, subscribes, etc. And let's see how our urban homesteading, homegrown homesteading journey goes. Thanks, guys.